It is Thursday, October 25th at 5:45 p.m. and I am just arriving at the Barnes & Noble in Bridgewater, New Jersey, and we are about to start getting ready for the Meet the Writers Night. I am super excited to be here and I can't wait to take you guys along with me as we sign and do a Q&A. Again for coming tonight. It is so awesome to see so many lovers of books in one room. So I would like to start by asking all of our lovely authors today to state their name and a little bit about their work and their backstory.
Does it start with me? Because
Sure.
I'm closest to you?
You're close.
I'm Rob VLOCK. Everyone, hello. Thank you so much for coming. I'm the author of the Sven Carter series, the first book in the series. Thank you. Thank you. The first in the series is called Sven Carter and the Trash Mouth Effect, and the second in the series, which just came out earlier this month, is Sven Carter and the Android Army.
Hi everybody, I'm JODI KENDALL, and I'm the author of these two books. The Unlikely Story of a Pig in the City came out last year, and the sequel is Dog Days in the City, and this published just a couple of weeks ago.
Hey guys, I am Sally Pla, and I have 3 books now, and they are all a little bit different. The Someday Birds came out in 2017. Then The Stanley Will Probably Be Fine came out in February. And then there is, that just came out a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Benji, The Bad Day and Me.
I'm Sayantani Dasgupta. I'm really excited to be back here because I, love talking about my series, Kiranmala and the Kingdom Beyond. The first book in the series is called The Serpent's Secret. The second book is called The Game of Stars. It's coming out soon in February.
My name is JARRET, LERNER, and when I was a kid growing up, I feel like I was exactly like you Odyssey of the Mind kids. I wrote a book about just such kids called The Engineers. I didn't call them Odyssey of the Mind, I called them The Engineers, but they're tinkerers too.
Hi, I'm Tay. Yes, I wrote this book. It's called The Science of Breakable Things.
Alright, so this is my book. It's called The Scavenger. I published it at the beginning of my junior year of high school, so last November. I was working on it for several years, and it took a lot of inspiration from my own high school experiences. So how did you all get into the craft? Did you always know that you wanted to be a writer, or did you start going down a different path and your passion drew you back to the books?
But when I got to 6th grade, I had this poem published in our local newspaper. And I was really excited about this, and it felt like this dream come true to see myself in a newspaper and my words, and then I went to school, and I saw that my classmates had also seen this poem, and they thought that it was weird, and so a lot of my classmates were telling me that this poem was weird and that writing was weird and that I shouldn't be a writer. And I ended up listening to those kids because I was really shy and self-conscious in school. And so when all these kids, especially the popular kids, they were telling me to stop, and so I stopped. And I stopped writing for many, many years until I got to college. And I wouldn't write anything unless it was for school or something. But when I was in college, I started to write this story. And it was the secret thing that I was doing because I was still really embarrassed when I was writing because there was all these leftover feelings about being uncool in school, and so I was hiding it from everybody. And when I finished, I showed my mom. And I showed this to her, and I was like, I know that this isn't a good story, and I'm not going to show anybody else. I'm never going to try to publish it. And she read it, and being the person who always encouraged me to write, she sat me down and she was like, you should try to publish this. You can revise this, you can work on this, but you shouldn't try to be hiding your voice from the world anymore. And so yeah, then this happened, which still feels like a surprise to me, but yeah, it was a whole journey.
If you write anything, you're a writer. You don't have to have a fancy, I mean, it's lovely to have a fancy cover artist. You can draw your own covers. If you write, you're a writer. And so, you know, if you remember nothing else, remember that. If you write, you're a writer.
What's your favorite part of the writing process?
My favorite part is probably starting with a blank document at the very beginning, and then every day just seeing that word count go up, and then just seeing how the story starts and how it ends. I always print out that very first draft, that awful first draft. That's never anything like the end result, but it's so cool seeing that whole process of start to finish and how much the story changes and how much it evolves over time, because it's crazy to see how much time can change something, and it's an awesome process.
Did you write when you were a middle schooler, and what was the kind of stories that you wrote back when you were younger?
So when I was in middle school, I actually worked for a couple years actually on a vampire story called The Apocalypse Chronicles. And I know my parents have heard me talk about it a lot when I was in middle school. But again, I've always written things that I wanted to read. And I always love like this little scary and like the paranormal and ghosts and things. So when I was in middle school, that's what I wanted to write, and read. And this next book that I'm working on is actually a paranormal thriller that I go back to all those things that I wrote and kind of draw some inspiration from that. So yeah, and again, all the things that if you start writing now, it might not come to its full completion at the moment, but in the future, if you come back and work on it, it could come full circle.
How do you balance writing with school and then also a part-time job?
Yeah, so the first thing I did when I realized that I wanted to write The Scavenger from start to finish is I went on my phone and I deleted the YouTube app because I can easily spend a lot of my time on social media and on Netflix and things, and I definitely had to set boundaries for myself and be very strict with myself. I always put schoolwork comes first over everything. Even at the moment, I make sure that I complete all of my homework and everything first before I get to writing. But just making sure that, yeah, it's very important. But I just make sure that I use all of my time efficiently, and whenever I have a spare moment, even if I'm not actively writing, I try to read and I try to do some more research and things and try to make sure that every second I have is being used efficiently.